Our future is now, and we should be working for our future. Um, one thing that I can say to a younger person is that you must always believing in yourself and stay focused. And then another thing that I wanted to mention about this book, Imali Yezipoki, is that um, for me, it wasn't like an easy journey. It wasn't an easy journey. Like I was putting thoughts at the time I wanted to publish this book.
Yeah.
And then I did approach many publishing houses. I
Yes,
got
yes.
rejected. I want to encourage the young person that those rejection letters should serve as a great inspiration. Even if you are not writing a book, even if like you are looking for an employment, you are trying by all your best, like to be successful in life, but you get rejections, you failing, and failing was one of my fears, but you shouldn't fear to fail because at the time you fail, you learn new things.
Yeah.
So I want to encourage each and every young person like to stand up and to pull up their socks because time is not against them. Even though you don't have a time frame designed for your success, but you should start working as now so that you can reap what you sow.
In the words of Franklin D. Roosevelt, we cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future. One such young person, Sandile Ngwenya, decided to take it upon himself to craft his future, but not only his, but a future that will benefit other young people. On our platform today, we have Sandile Ngwenya, who obtained a national diploma in local government from the Tshwane University of Technology in Pretoria, Soshanguve. During his tenure there, he was a student mentor and participated in Leaders Conference for University Students in South Korea in the year 2018. He is currently employed at the Joburg market in the consignment department. Here's an interesting part about Sandile. His debut novel, Imali Yezipoki, was awarded the 2021 Sanlam Prize for Youth Literature in the Gold category. He was awarded the prize for creative writing in isiZulu for Imali Yezipoki. This is the book that we're talking about. Sandile, how are you?
I'm good, sir, and yourself.
I'm great. There's nothing that excites me to speak to young people who are changing the course of life for themselves or for the future. Because what usually happens is that sometimes we think that we are too young for certain experiences, only to find that we're denying ourselves to become the better version of ourselves. Great. We come from the Youth Month now in June, and we are in the month of July. And hearing such stories about what young people like yourself are doing is very, very phenomenal. But let's start at the beginning. Who is Sandile Ngwenya?
Sandile Ngwenya, I was born in Newcastle. Newcastle is a town located in northern KZN. So I'm coming from a family of 5. I was born just like everybody else. I was born in a poor background and I was raised by a grandmother. And then with my siblings, and I was raised by my mother as well.
Okay.
I started in a primary level in 2002 in a primary school called Sebenzani Primary School.
Okay.
And then I passed on to a junior primary school, Kopumlando. And when my secondary was Sesabonga Technical High School. So I'm from that era in Newcastle. And then another thing, maybe if I can elaborate further about my background. I was raised by a grandmother, a single grandmother. And then at the time, my mother used to work here in Gauteng before she passed on.
Okay.
And then another thing that I would like to mention about this extraordinary woman who raised me, who's a grandmother. I've learned that life taught me to be strong at a very young age. I'm this person who I am today because of my grandmother who did raise me, and it wasn't easy. But I'm glad because some of the experiences are there to challenge us, to strengthen us, to
Yes,
make
yes,
us
yes.
the people that we are today.
Yeah, yeah. So, sorry to hear about the passing of your mother. And if you can, when did your mother pass away?
She passed on, it was January 2014. I was still doing matric at
Oh,
that
okay,
time, yes.
okay. And your grandmother, is she still alive?
No, unfortunately, she passed on as well in
Yeah,
2019.
yeah. So, what is it that when you think of your grandmother, just one experience or two, that
Yeah.
when you think of her, you have this radiant smile on your
Wow,
face.
yeah.
Can you share some of the experiences with her?
You know, that woman is an extraordinary woman that I
Mm,
ever seen in this world. Because one of the experience that I can share about my grandmother, she used to work for a clothing factory. The last time I remember that she used to work for a clothing factory earning 500 a month. And
mm,
then we could survive with that money that she was
mm,
earning by that time. And I still remember the time she went for a retirement and earning a pension. I still remember spending her first pay buying me a brand new.
wow.
You know, to be quite honest, and I don't like wearing brand new
Yes,
at that
yes.
age
We are the
because,
same.
yeah. But you know, even my friends were sort of like sometimes they were laughing at me
Mm,
because I was wearing a brand new. We believe that brand new is not for people in our age.
yes, yes,
But
yes.
because it was something, a gift from my grandmother, I was wearing it with pride. So I still
Yeah.
remember that she did everything in her power to make us like to survive because we
Mm,
didn't go to bed hungry. Even though
yes.
sometimes we did go back bed to hungry because one thing that she used to tell me is that Sandile, even if you go bed hungry, don't eat because you've got siblings who are following you. Because when
Mm,
you are older than them, then that means you can go back. I mean, you can go to the bed hungry, but you should look for your
mm,
siblings. As to date, I'm looking after my siblings because of my grandmother who strengthened me, who showed me love.
mm. Yeah, no, that's very, very powerful. And especially if we were to put it into context, Brentwood has always been expensive. It's one of those pair of trousers that honestly I don't like it, but I remember growing up seeing Abo Mahotman Ekasi wearing
Yeah,
Brentwood, Dopshire,
yeah.
all those type of shoes that goes with it. So, and the lesson that you have learned when she said, you know what, take care of your siblings. How did you experience that even up to today? Did you did it come as, and I just want us to put it into context, as a burden at a later stage, or did you see it as something positive that you need to carry on, or a mixture of both?
To be quite honest with you, let me be honest because this is going to help even the others.
Mm,
At first, it was 2019 at the time I remember. My grandmother by that time, she was sick, and then she called me. And then she said, "Look, Sandile, I'm about to pass on." I didn't like that topic because I even
mm,
wanted to shed in tears because
mm,
I don't like talking about death, more
mm.
especially if it's the loved one who's
Yeah,
telling you about the death.
yeah.
"Look, Sandile, I'm about to pass. I want you to build my house. I'm demanding a house from you, and I'm demanding that you look after your siblings, you take care after your siblings." And
Mm,
then I made a promise to my grandmother that I'm going to fulfill that promise of taking care of them. By that by that time, it was something easier because I knew that I'm not working, but eventually I'm going to get a job. It was 2019,
mm,
and then after she passed, around June, I started being unemployed, and
mm,
then I went through a lot of things because I know how it's like to be depressed because I've
mm,
been through a lot of things because I was unemployed, unable even to provide at home. So I saw that as a burden
mm,
because now I have to take care of my three siblings. Mind you that I do have a son as well. So I was considering myself as having 4 children, and it is a burden. But it's not a burden because, you know, if you are meeting or if you are associating yourself with good people, there's this extraordinary woman that I love with all my heart that I first met. Someone who showed me that you can take care of your responsibilities. Those responsibilities are not a burden, but are the lesson in life.
Yes, yes.
Mam Nozipho, she's the person that she's not only the mentor, she's more than a mentor, she is a mother to me, because at the time I wanted to give up in life, she was there, she stood by me, she motivated me, she told me that I should keep on moving. So it is not a burden at all to take care of my siblings, because I'm the responsible brother as their elder brother who they are left with me.
Yes, yes, yes.
So it's not a burden at all. I can take care of them even further.
Okay, no, that's great. And let's bring into the picture your mother. You also said you were raised by the grandmother and your mother. So I assume the grandmother is the maternal, from the maternal side. It's your mom's mother.
Yes.
Okay, how was it, the relationship with your mother? How do you remember her?
You know, I didn't spend much time with my mother, but I could still remember, I still have those memories. You know, after her passing in 2014, if I wanted to remember anything, any good memories, by then it took me 5 years to heal from her passing, because the only picture that came in mind was that at the time she was sick. I couldn't remember anything about my mother. But after getting assisted and moving on with life, because after her passing, I even said, at least now I have a grandmother who raised me, and my grandmother is a mother. She was a mother, she was a father. But I still have those good memories at the time, because I used to visit in Alexandra to visit my mother. So even if I go there to that place reminds me of my mother. I still have those good memories of my mother, because she was having that motherly love and support. I still remember that support, because she believed in me at the time anyone didn't believe in me, but she was there believing in me, telling me that everything will be fine and I should be stronger than pain.
Okay. So in the 5 years that you're referring to, that it was difficult for you, do you have a clear idea as to what was making those 5 years difficult? You also mentioned issue of depression. Can you take us through that? What was so difficult at that time?
You know, after passing of my grandmother, because she was the person who used to take care of me, in 2019, I graduated in TUT 2019. And then after graduating, I was obliged to go back home and to look after my siblings. Then at the time, I wanted to come to Joburg so that I can look for a job. And then I started looking for a job in Newcastle. It is very difficult, that side, because there are no job opportunities. So that is the number one obstacle that I faced, is an unemployment. And I remember that I had a girlfriend. We're still dating even today. She's my baby mama. And then she assisted me, because I will always grateful to her. She assisted, regardless that I'm the guy, I should provide. Because there's this mentality of saying, if you are a guy, you should provide. But she provided with everything. I mean, she was able to provide to my siblings, to buy us food, clothing, and everything, so that can ease a pain. And then she was the first person to recommend someone who's going to counsel me. And then that person she recommended was, we are sharing a surname, by the way, but we don't know each other. And then that person didn't even counsel me. She's a psychologist, by the way, but she supported me in everything. If I'm in need of a cash, or if I want to buy food, she could assist me with anything. So in that 5 years, it was unemployment, and then the lack of support. Support is very important, because there are people who are not believing in you. And I've learned that if you are a person, you must have an intrinsic motivation, something that is motivating you from within yourself. You don't have to wait for someone to motivate you. What if
Correct,
there's
yes.
no someone? I mean, what if there's no one who's going to motivate you? You should motivate yourself. So there was a lack of support from my side of the friends, but I do have friends who
Yes, yes,
supported
yes,
me.
yes, yes.
And then there were people who used to criticize whatever that I was doing, trying to improve my life. It wasn't like a constructive criticism,
Yes, yes,
but
yes.
those criticisms were like to tarnish me. But I went strong because even though it wasn't easy by that time, but I went out to seek for help, even for that 5 years. But it took long for me like to get where I am. And then within that period of 5 years, you know, in 2019, after passing off my grandmother in June, I started writing a book. The main aim is because I was depressed.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
maybe if I get busy with something that I'm talented in,
Yes, yes,
it
yes.
could shift the focus
Yeah.
than being depressed. Let me just get busy with something. So I wrote a book in a period of 6 months. Each and every time when I write the book, after writing the book or whatever that passage, I felt very relieved. It's like I was more of like motivating myself because some of the things that are written in this book were part of my experiences. So if I'm writing or if I'm jotting them down, I was becoming like more relieved. So this was
okay.
a daily routine.
Is it this book?
Yes.
Okay, no, definitely we'll definitely come to it.
Yes.
And thanks to the point that you mentioned, and you say you are still with the your child's mother, and she played a very critical role in this journey of healing, support, and stuff. Because as you say, Sandile, all of us require support. We cannot be going through life on our own. You know, there must always be somebody, a shoulder to cry on, and we are grateful to that. Marike, but I'll explore this other part.
Yeah.
You said, in your words, you were open to counseling. And ke batla ho explore that part a little bit because in our society, abantu besilisa bathi, no man, no. We cannot be sitting there, go couching, and somebody talks to you. You know, I don't know the form of counseling that you went to, but at the end of the day, it's counseling. It's you opening up yourself to somebody, sometimes a stranger, you know. So just take us back.
Yeah.
How did you get to that conclusion? More, yeah, and talk about my story with this person.
Yeah, you know, if you are depressed, sometimes you don't realize that you are depressed or you're stressing yourself. But I had symptoms first because I was always angry with me, with myself, with everyone, having those mood swings sometimes. And I wanted to be lonely each and every time.
Why were you angry with yourself, if I may interject?
Pardon?
Why were you angry with yourself?
Why were I was angry with myself? Okay, the reason why I was angry, you know, if you are being unemployed and you are unable to provide to your family, I was regretting why did I go to school, because today I'm not even working.
Yeah.
And I was even questioning God, to be honest. Let me be honest, because I devoted my faith in God.
Yeah.
But today I believe in God because God is always good. I was questioning God. Why did he decided to take my mother? Because now I'm taking care of my siblings and it is a burden for me.
Yes.
Now, just to go back to your question, why what led me to that conclusion to say I want to speak to someone?
Somebody, yes.
It was my girlfriend in a way. She was the person.
She comes into the picture again. Okay.
She was the person who convinced me to meet someone that I can talk to. And then I was like, you know, I don't believe that I can talk to someone. Someone can convince me that everything is going to be fine. No, I don't need that. I don't need any motivation from somebody else.
I can do it myself.
I can do it myself.
Yeah.
And then, not that I was losing my mind, but sometimes I felt like I was losing my mind. So that is when I went to see this private social worker, a psychologist, and then we had a one-on-one session. It was just for a 1 day because she saw that maybe I didn't need much of counseling. She invited me to a seminar just to go and attend to see other people who have much bigger problems than mine. And then after visiting that seminar, I realized that no, there are people who are experiencing a lot of things difficult than mine, but it's just that we don't resolve things the same.
Yes.
So that was when I started opening up. Like, if I've got a problem, I don't want to own a problem. Let me speak to a person that I trust, a person that is going to guide me. It's just that you cannot speak, or I cannot speak to any person, but I have to trust that person first to see that the person can help me.
Yes. You said something, and I've just noted it.
Yeah.
Very powerful. You don't want to own a problem.
Yeah.
And I really like that statement because most now they end up owner the problem.
Yeah.
We try to put it under the table. We try to put it under our feet. Temple the problem will run away, or we eject from the mind, but the problem still stays there. So if I were to take this opportunity to talk to young men, young guys, and if you were to encourage them directly and say to them, there's nothing wrong about being vulnerable. There's nothing wrong about accepting how the depression affects guys as well. What would you say?
One thing that I would like to say, that I would like to encourage the young people is that never disown your dreams just because someone says no to them. Believe in your dreams. And in isiZulu, we normally says nelengwele liyopha, meaning that if you are a hero, a warrior, you are fighting, and then sometimes you can get stabbed and you can bleed. It's fine because you are a human. It shows that you are a human too.
Yes.
So you are a human being. We should also admit that we are also human beings. We are subjected to bad things, but you shouldn't own a problem, because the mistake, I don't want people to make this mistake. The mistake that I did was to disown my dreams, because the thing that I understand is that dreams delayed are not late, because there's no time frame set for you. You can still achieve whatever dream that you want to achieve in life. As well, as long as you are going to associate yourself with people who are smart, people who have experience in your field of interest. Associate yourself with good people so that you can achieve great things.
Wow. Dreams delayed are not late.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Quotable quote. I'll definitely credit it to you. So Sandile, I'll fast forward a bit.
Okay.
Because now you have this experience, Lee, Ugogo, and then the mother, the experience, and you with your siblings. By the way, how are they doing?
They are doing great. My mother's second born, Siyanda Mjali, she's a woman, by the way. She's studying medicine in Cape Peninsula University in Cape Town.
Okay.
And then the other two siblings are at home in Newcastle. They are doing great.
No, great. Yeah, so the point that I was trying to get to now, you've got these experiences with your Ugogo, the mother, and the experiences that you have shared. Now you find yourself at university, at TUT.
Yeah.
Now growing up, Joe, we knew TUT to be something else. Now, what was your experience there? And let me contextualize based on what you say.
Yeah.
You're speaking about dreams.
Yeah.
Varsity out loud, boss. You don't know yourself, you lose yourself. How was your experience as a student at that time? How did you stay true to yourself? And I'm already making a judgment call that you stood true to yourself because as part of that journey, you became a student mentor. Yeah. Just talk to us generally about your life at varsity and some of the challenges.
You know, I completed high school in 2014, and then I took a gap year in 2015 due to financial constraints.
Okay.
And then I enrolled in TUT, so was 2016, becoming a first year student. And then I started joining student politics at the first level.
Okay.
I didn't know anything about politics and leadership, even though I was once RCL in high school.
Oh, okay.
And then I started joining student politics because there was this guy who recruited me to say, no, Sandile, come and join student politics. It is a structure. They're going to give us bursaries. Because I wanted bursary, not because my intention was to join politics.
Yes.
This was propaganda.
A man has got to do what a man can do at the time, yeah.
And then that was propaganda. And then after joining, I was given a position. Those were one of the experiences. I was given a position to become a deputy chairperson in media and publicity.
Okay.
In short, a spokesperson.
Yes.
And then after that, the following year, I was doing great in varsity because I remember that knowing your background, knowing where you come from, you should know your background so that you can keep on moving. And because I knew my background, I was a well-performing student. And people who are meeting me on a first encounter, people who don't know where I come from, they normally think I'm a cheese boy who comes from a big family, a big mansion, a big mansion, a boy who uses money carelessly. They don't know where I come from because I don't want to look, and I refuse to look like my situation.
Yes.
I'm from a 2-room house without a television for 10 years, but I refuse to look like my situation. At the time I was in varsity, I was taking into consideration of my situation at home. And then in the second year, I became the deputy chairperson for that political structure. And then I became a secretary general for a Tibatlala student project, which was an NPO for students. We were helping students. And then that year, the second year, and then I became a student mentor because I was a well-performing student. Assisting others, assisting the lecturers with tutoring. And then on the third year, of which was the final year, to be honest, now I was more active in politics.
Yes.
Now starting not to neglect the academics, but I moved from day classes to evening classes because during the day I wanted to go and campaign.
Okay.
I was involved in a lot of things because I remember in varsity we once hosted a world camp, cultural camp, where we invited international students from 84 countries. And then we invited them, we hosted them for 3 days. And then after that, those were my experiences. After that, I applied for a scholarship to attend a summer program in a university, one of the universities in Germany. And then I was accepted, and then I got a scholarship. The only thing that I didn't get was the flight ticket, the fare. And then I had to write into different institutions asking for the funds, only to find that in the very same month I was invited to attend that summer program in that university, and I was invited to attend a program in South Korea. Due to the fact that I was seeking for money from this different institution and I was rejected due to financial constraints, and I approached the office of the mayor in the city of Tshwane, and then they did manage to assist me with the funds, only to find that their transactions delayed, and then they transferred the money at the later stage, and I couldn't secure a visa on time. And then I was like, no, because I was supposed to go into 2 places and I couldn't split. Let me just go to South Korea.
I see.
So those were the kind of experiences at the time I went to varsity, because I saw that, I believe that at the time I was before varsity, I thought maybe certain things are for certain people, not for me. Who is me to travel with the flight? I was normally thinking that maybe traveling with the flight is for a certain people from a certain class. But with me, I've learned a lot of things in leadership. I've learned to live and to socialize with people in varsity. There are a lot of things that I've learned in varsity. So I've got a lot of experiences.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what was South Korea about?
In South Korea, I remember that firstly, before even getting there, first in Pretoria in Sami Max, we met South Koreans. They were having a small Anyana program that site. And then we were interested like to know what are they doing, what is their program about, what are they offering.
Yes, yes.
And then they from International Youth Fellowship, of which is an international NPO that is based in South Korea. And then they are existing in 84 countries as well. So in this NPO, they invited us to go and attend the Leaders Conference for University Students in South Korea. So in that conference, we were engaging with the ministers of youth from different countries, the ministers of education, so that we can talk about the educational system, so that we can talk about the challenges that the youth faces. We were not only talking about the problems, we were identifying the root cause of a problem and coming up with the solutions, drafting the policies. And then it was all about that. And then we did engage the commissioners, the police commissioners, so that we can talk about the crime rate, the crime that is conducted by the young people. And then we did engage with the chancellors from universities from different countries. We did engage with them in 2018.
No, that's great. That's how young people go out there and make a difference.
Yeah.
Now, you said when you were going through depression, one of your outlets was to write, and you said you thought of doing something that you are talented in. I think that's what you said.
Yes.
And just to put context in the book, okay, it says in early 2020 actually, you entered a national literature competition coordinated by NB Publishers in Takelberg in collaboration with Sanlam.
Yes.
Your book was awarded the Gold Sanlam Prize for Youth Literature in 2021. And this included a prize of 20,000. And you also received an award from the University of Joburg for creative writing, for the first prize for the Debbie novel, and the prize around 35K. And importantly, the Gauteng Department of Education approved the book, and it will be distributed to school libraries and public libraries. Now, this is the book, and I will ask you just to unpack it for us. It is literally written in Zulu. You can see this Bible from the beginning to the end. So I am not good in Zulu, and the gentleman will unpack it for us. But before we go into the book, when you said something that you are talented in, when did you realize that you are talented in writing?
I realized that I was talented in writing at the time I was still in grade 8.
Okay.
And I approached a deputy principal from my high school to help me find a publisher. Unfortunately, but fortunately, he got promoted into another high school to become a principal.
Okay.
That was a loss to me because I just recently found someone who's going to help me. And then because there was a lack of information on how to write a book, a complete manuscript, and on how to look for a publisher, then I was having these pieces of writing up until 2019. But before becoming a writer, I first became an active reader, because if you want to become a writer, you must be a reader first.
Yeah.
And then we used to exchange. I used to go to the library and borrow 5 books. And then I used to exchange those 5 books with my grandmother and my mother to just give them a separate book, so that after reading the books, we can review the books together, discuss the book.
Book club as a car.
Yes. So and then in 2019, then I decided, now let me just write a book. And then I shared, I created a Facebook page. And then I didn't share the whole book because no one is going to buy the book. But I was sharing the small parts of the book so that I can attract the audience. And then I created that Facebook page. Many people, like they said, Sandile, you can become a writer, you can write a book. Why don't you write a book? Then I realized that this is something that I'm more passionate, I'm talented in. So let me just embrace this talent, because I believe that golden opportunities are given people with golden skills and talent, and I am that golden person.
Yes, yes. So, take us to the book, Imali Yezipoki. I think it's loosely translated Ghost Treasures.
Yes.
Okay. What is the book all about?
In this book is about Uskegede Khumalo. Uskegede Khumalo was born in a rural areas of Kwampugonyoni. By the way, I've never been to Kwampugonyoni, but in order for me to write a book, this fiction book, I wanted a village, like a certain to be in a village.
Yes.
And then Uskegede Khumalo is raised by a grandmother. And he works for a white farmer, the very same white farmer who used to be a boss to his grandfather. And then to unpack the book just briefly, Skegede Khumalo, there was this one day when he arrived late at work, because the distance from his home to work, it's such a long distance. And then he arrived late, and then he got punished by this white farmer. Why did he arrive late?
Yes, yes.
And then after being punished, he was thrown inside a dog pound. So he was trying to crawl down, running away from the dogs. After crawling down, he discovered that he revealed that there was a piece of paper written. It was sort of like a pledge.
Yes, yes.
It was written by his grandfather, making a pledge that I pledge with all my life that I will safeguard this treasure. Many people, if I'm telling them about, if they read the title of the book, Imali's book, they think that I'm talking about the inheritance, some kind of inheritance, yeah, but I'm not talking about that. Only to find that Skegede's grandfather was buried along with the money, the old coins, which was called a Kruger Rand. Yes, he was buried with the Kruger Rand, buried by this white farmer. This white farmer said, you know what, today I'm going to kill you so that you can safeguard this treasure. No one is going to come here to dig up. So make sure that if anyone wants to come here to dig this treasure, your ghost rises from the death and then you chase after them. So grandfather Skegede started to visit Skegede in the dreams. And then Skegede, this was like, this is just a normal dreams. They got nothing to do with money. And then Skegede discovered that there was this piece of paper with a pledge. He started asking questions, wondering what happened to his grandfather. And at the time, he asked his grandmother about the whereabouts of his grandfather, the death of his grandfather. The grandmother didn't want to talk about that. And then the very same time, at the time Skegede had experienced these dreams, this white farmer also experiencing now the dreams. His name is Thompson. He was now experiencing the very same dreams, but it was like the grandfather of Skegede now is attacking him on the dream. He was bleeding where he got shot here at the head, and he was sort of like bleeding. So this white farmer started thinking, no, I can't be dreaming such a thing. Maybe this is inside my mind. Let me just go and visit the psychologist. And then that is when he got involved into a car accident. And then after that, that was when he got admitted into hospital. And then grandfather Skegede visited Skegede over the dream to tell him, to instruct him that now you can go to that farmer to dig the money, because the white farmer is no longer there. He's hospitalized. But Skegede does not discover this treasure alone by the assistant of a witch doctor who used to be tend to be a clever witch doctor, because he wanted to double cross Skegede. And then there are so many people who got involved here, even the police, the private investigators, they wanted to investigate Skegede and to rob him of his money. But at the end of the day, he managed to exchange the coins in South African Reserve Bank into cash. And then after exchanging them with the help of her girlfriend Belinda and the IT friend Taban, they forged the documents, and then they exchanged the money. And then after exchanging the money, Skegede took some of the money and invested the money to South African Farmers Association, so that after 4 years, he can get a piece of land and then he can get the piece of land of like a plus, a farm.
Mm.
And then he enrolled in Vet University. That was when he studied law, and then after studying law, he got a bursary which is called Barack Obama bursary. At the time he flew to United States of America.
Okay.
Skeged. As much as there are challenges and tough life, but within there's love between him and Belinda, and there's something good. They like the improvement. And then after everything, Skeged graduating from Vet University. And then he went to the South African Disassociation to claim the piece of land. You know, it took me a surprise. At the time I wrote the book, people were surprised that he got the very same farmer where he was working at, the farmer that was owned by a Thompson. So he got that farmer, and Skeged now was becoming now a successful person as a legal practitioner and as a farmer. But now, towards the end of the book, the only thing that now it's a mystery in this story. Now there's a rise of Skeged's father, not the grandfather.
Yes,
this time around. There's this thing we call it in isiZulu, uktwebula, to raise a dead man from the grave. Sometimes we do that. They do that. It's some kind of a witchcraft that is being performed.
Yeah.
So Skeged now he was now seeing his father like physically. And then he was like, but we did bury you. How come would you just rise from the death? And then they went during the night to the graveyard to dig, to see what did they buried, only to find that there were candles and those witchcraft stuff. And then his father was turned into a subhuman or a zombie.
Okay.
By some witch doctor. And then the story ends at the time Skeged's father wanted to attack Skeged and her siblings, but only to find that at the time Thompson was on a wheelchair, that white farmer. He wanted to claim back his farmer, and he bought Izinkabi to kill Skeged. But coincidental, at the time the father to Skeged wanted to attack Skeged, coincidentally, the white farmer was there to kill Skeged, only to find that the subhuman whose father Skeged killed the white farmer on the very same instance. So I'm still going to continue with the book because people wanted to know what happened with Skeged, because now there's this new person who's the subhuman or his father.
Yeah, I see on page 296, which is the last page, you say Yakubega. Wow, yes. No, great. Thanks for unpacking that. And I was just reading the analysis that was done by somebody from Vets, and the deep analysis, and that's how I could get a gist of what the story is from that English analysis. Yeah. Now, for somebody who reads the book, what is the ultimate message that, as you were writing the book, you wanted them to take away from the story?
Yeah. The lesson that I wish people to learn from this book is that in life there are challenges, and you cannot run away from challenges. You must be able to tackle every challenges. And then with Skeged was born, he was just more of like me, who's someone who's from a poor family, but that doesn't determine his future.
Yes,
because I believe that your childhood experiences, they are not supposed to interfere much with what is going to happen in the future. Because if you are an adult, if you are learning every day, learning from each and everything every day, you are given an opportunity like to grow. So after reading this book, you see that there are challenges that people are facing, but there is a breakthrough from those challenges. You can get as far as possible if you want to get far with your life. So look at with Skeged. Skeged is from this part of a family, and then now he's having challenges, but he did manage to tackle all those challenges. He gets enrolled in a university, and mind you, he was just a poor person, poor guy. And it shows that if you know your background, then you know knowing where you come from, and having a willing like to change your background, then you can do that without any fear or favor or prejudice. So I want to leave a lesson to people with this book that there's nothing that you want to achieve in life that you won't be able to achieve if you want to achieve whatever that you want to achieve in life.
Wow. So tell me, this is fiction, okay?
It's fiction, yes.
What motivate? I mean, where did the story come from? Is it based on somebody's life experience, or is it something that you just thought of and say, "Let me pen this story because I want to reach this end," which you just explained now?
Yeah. Okay, since this is a fiction, you know, I wrote this book based on my experiences. Not only my experiences, but the things that we experience on the daily life. And another thing, as I've mentioned, that I was raised by a grandmother. So my grandmother sometimes used to share those fairy tales because in this book, since it's a fiction, there's a mythology, a myth in this book. There's this part where Skegede, her sister, drawn into the river. He was taken by a snake.
Yeah.
There's this giant serpent. They call it Inkanyamba. So it is a fiction. It's based on something that I was told by my grandmother. But I wanted like the book to be more enjoyable. But those experiences are based on my experiences, other people's experiences. Then I took all those experiences and then to make one book.
And then how did we land to the point where the Department of Education says, hey, this book, we're gonna put it to good use and then share it with the public and then at school libraries?
You know, before getting to that point, this book, firstly, it was recommended for schools. At the time I entered the first competition of Sanlam. And at the time I was awarded in Cape Town, 2021.
Yes.
So the criteria was that this book should be suitable to be read by grade 11 and 12.
Yes.
And then my publisher, it is the one that is organizing, that is submitting the books to the Department of Education. And then there was a call in 2021. Not 2021, I think last year, 2022, there was a call to the Department of Education that people should submit their books. So fortunately, my book meets the criteria that it can be read by the high school learners.
Yes. And how far has that gone up to now? Have they started or they are still in the process?
No, they started because now they are liaising with my publisher because they want to order those copies. I don't know how many copies because I'm still going to be informed by the Department of Education liaising with my publisher. But they're still in the process of buying them.
Yes. You know, your story and you writing this book and going back to what you said about something that you're talented in.
Yes.
It's a story for me that says to young people out there, don't bury your talent.
Yeah.
You don't know where it will take you and how far it will take you. Because here's the thing, I didn't pick you saying I was doing this for money, you know, or I was doing this for this and that. It is you using your talent and putting your story down and see how now this goes out to impact other people. And you also mentioned that there's an element of, that is of the set. You mentioned that there's an element of translation. Yes. How's that going?
I spoke with my publisher to check with them if I can publish the book. If I can translate the book from isiZulu to English, and then they said yes. With their assistant, they are going to look for someone who's an English expert, someone who's going to help me translating the book. I think later this year.
Okay.
Later they say the book is going to be translated because I wanted to accommodate each and every person. Since this is an award-winning book, many people want to buy this book. I remember that the first person to buy this book was a white lady, a white person. He said, no, Sandile, look, I can't read this Zulu, but I wanted to support you because I've heard that this book, it is a must.
Yes.
So I want to buy it and then I can put it on my collections. So I just want to accommodate each and everyone. maybe at the later stage, after translating it into English, I can translate it into Isitswana, finding
Yes,
those
yes.
experts in Isitswana so
Yeah.
that I can accommodate each and every persons. But later this is going to be translated into English.
English, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I hope that process really goes well, and also that you get also the right legal advice and other
Yeah.
stuff through that
Through
process,
that process.
so that you partner well with your publishers, and then you also reap the benefits out of this book. And the benefits might not only be financial, but also all the rights that comes
Yeah.
with the hard work that you have put into this book. Now, at the end, as I indicated, you said to be continued.
Yeah.
How's that going? Are you focusing first on the translation, then the next piece of the book?
You know, I wanted to focus on the translation before coming with the next piece of book. I'm busy with another book right now. It is a memoir and biograph. I wanted to write my biograph so that I can inspire other people. And something that I forgot even to mention about this book, on the 31st this month, I'm going to be honored by African Honorary Authors Award
Okay,
in
okay.
Sentin. So they are going to honor me for this book.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm going to receive an award as well.
Wow. Now, then that shows, I mean, from Sanlam, from the work that was done by vets in analyzing the book to this now latest award, it shows the value that we have, that is captured in this 296 pages, you know. So how long did it take you to write this book?
It took me 6 months, and other people were surprised. Yeah, it took me 6 months because I started writing this book. This was 2019 June, and then I finished it on the 31st of December.
Yeah.
I wanted to finish it earlier, but remember that I was sharing the book on Facebook, so people were calling me, asking me to post the book. Like I was now working under pressure because people they were waiting for, something from me.
Yeah.
And then it took me for 6 months to complete the whole book.
Okay. And the Facebook page, does it still exist?
Yes, it still exists.
Can you share it with us?
Sandile Ngwenya, author.
Okay.
This is my Facebook page.
Wow. So in the bigger scheme of things, Sandile, because this is a great work that you have done, it's going to the next stage of translation, the distribution at books, you receiving awards. What is the bigger dream that you have on the authorship side of things generally?
One of my biggest dreams, now you're asking me a question of the biggest dreams because I dream big, because even sometimes my dreams scare me if I'm going to achieve them, but I know that I'm going to achieve them. So my biggest dream is to become an award-winning author, and I'm an award-winning author. I wanted my books to be prescribed for schools, to be distributed for schools. Now I achieved that dream. So the biggest dream is to become an international author, moving from writing in isiZulu to English, because I want to go international.
Yes.
And I want to see my books. I can even convert one of my books into script, so that I can see, so that it can be filmed at some point. So it is not based, my dream is not based on literature only, but it's art as the whole.
Wow. And is there any type of support, mentorship or otherwise, that you get in terms of you achieving that dream, or is it something, the journey that you are working on your own?
In terms of support, I do have support from literally people who are assisting me, and I have friends, because if you are involved in a certain industry or in a field, you must also associate yourself with people who are doing the very same thing, or people who are more experienced. So I do have mentors, I do have people who are helping me. And another thing, I feel like I'm still going to achieve like a lot of things since I've met Mam Nozipho. She's been a very good mentor and a good mother. So I'm still going to achieve like a lot of things. And in isiZulu, we normally say ngiswele imlomo eyinkulungwane thank her. But I believe that God is going to bless her, because I want God to bless her, because I want her to see me becoming a successful person in life, because I want to thank her for the moral support that she provided. She's such a super woman. So I do have people who are mentoring me. You know that one of the fascinating things that I used to have role models, people that I look up to. Now those people, I'm their role model today. And I remember that there's this one guy who works for a SAPO, it's an auditing company. He went to do an internship in the United States of America. So this guy, he used to be my mentor. Now I have become his role model, including my high school teacher. So many people that I'm influenced. I have got now people that I'm influencing. I didn't know that one day I'm going to change other people's lives.
You know, it's so powerful what you're saying, because we think that the course of life will never change, you know. And even in my corporate days, I used to advise people that, you know, the whole issue of mentorship, it's the idea that is the younger person, I mean, the older person mentoring the older person, it doesn't hold true because of how the world has evolved. Younger people can, for example, mentor older people as far as technology is concerned and the like. And the fact that you were able to impact even the people that used to be your role models is really, really positive. And I think that happens because you decided to nurture your talent and not sit in it. And we always say a dream becomes a dream once it starts to impact other people. But if it's only for you, then it's not a dream. I want to believe it is a nightmare. So I can't wait, honestly, to have the English version of the book. But like I said, I read the analysis of the manuscript from Wits, and they definitely have got good things to say about the book. And can I get a commitment that I'll be one of the people to get the first order of the translated, and not a gift, the first order, so that we can support you in your growth. At this moment, where can people find this book?
They can find it at Exclusive Books, the bookshops. They can find it at Take a Lot. They can order it online, Bridge Bookshop. They can order directly from my publisher. The name of my publisher is NB Publisher. It is I got published with Tafelberg, but it is an imprint of NB Publishers. And then they can get it from Raro Books and other bookshops. If you can just go to Google, browse Imali Yezipoki by Sandile Ngwenya, then you can see the list of the bookshops where you can find the book.
Okay. So there's this part as we are about to land the flight. There's this part that I cannot miss. I think I had asked it, but I think I would just want to be too clear on it. Young people, sometimes, I don't know whether it's a function of social media and other stuff. Some young people think that to be focused is to live a boring life.
They think so.
Just tell them that there's nothing boring about being focused.
Actually, there's nothing boring about being focused, because our future is now, and we should be working for our future. You know, one thing that I can say to a younger person is that you must always believe in yourself and stay focused. And then another thing that I wanted to mention about this book, Imali Yezipoki, is that for me, it wasn't like an easy journey. It wasn't an easy journey. Like I was putting thoughts at the time I wanted to publish this book. And then I did approach many publishing houses. I got rejected. I want to encourage the young person that those rejection letters should serve as a great inspiration. Even if you are not writing a book, even if like you are looking for an employment, you are trying by all your best, like to be successful in life, but you get rejections, you're failing. And failing was one of my fears, but you shouldn't fear to fail, because at the time you fail, you learn, new things.
Yeah.
So I want to encourage each and every young person like to stand up and to pull up their socks, because time is not against them. Even though you don't have a time frame designed for your success, but you should start working as now so that you can reap what you sow on the next day.
Wow. I take that as a life 101 lesson, because that's usually how we end on this platform, to say, what is that life 101 lesson? And I think you have unpacked it so well, unless if you want to add to that as well.
Yeah. Another thing that I forgot to mention is that, I want to add that if you're a person like right now, I've published my book with an assistant of my publishers, the competition winning award. It is necessary for a person like to give back to the community. One thing that I've realized is that our generation, we don't like to read. And reading, if you are an active reader, you are giving yourself like an opportunity to acquire a knowledge, like to improve your skills, your abilities, your knowledge, to improve your knowledge through reading.
Yes.
So what I did after publishing the book, I went back to Newcastle, where I was born, and then I established a book club.
Wow.
And we are working with the local libraries. The purpose of establishing a book club was to promote the culture of reading and to assist the unpublished authors, like to get a platform, because other people, like, they wish to become a published authors. They don't know the process, how to become an author, how to write, the types of writing. So we're assisting them. And after teaching them, we are raising like money so that we can publish one book of short stories as a book club, because I want to improve their talent and skills. So in life, we shouldn't give up, because if you are disowning your dreams, that means you are just killing yourself. You are killing your talent. You are killing something that God gave you.
Yes. You know, one thing that we haven't told you, we haven't told the viewers that he is our first young person on this podcast, and that's the 22nd episode. And I'm also going to do something that we haven't done on this podcast. Sis Nozi, can you please come closer? Because sometimes when these things happen, we think that we just push names and the like. But the fact that you have mentioned Mam Nozipho, who has walked the journey with you, it's so brilliant, really. It's so brilliant, because it shows that we always need somebody to support us on this journey. We thank you really for taking this journey to support Sandile on this. And how has the relationship been like?
Phenomenal. You took me by surprise, but yeah, it's one of those. He's a nice gentleman, well mannered, and yeah, it hasn't been an easy road. When we met, he was going through stuff, and then the parent in me, I had to take that role. And yeah, we have established a good relationship. He sees me as a mentor, the coach, and I'm literally his mother.
Okay.
One thing that he said to me, he actually posted on his status, but didn't mention the name.
Yeah.
And he said, one day I will reveal her name. I lost my mother, I lost my grandmother, and I thought it was the end of me, but God provided and gave me a mother.
Wow.
So I think this is the moment.
Okay, thank you for that. And thanks Sandile for this. Thanks for this. Keep on the good work. Thanks. Keep the good work, Sis Nozipho, on the other hand. And the viewer at home, it just goes to show out there that We don't have to bury our dreams. We have to believe in ourselves, no matter the circumstances. As Stephen Covey has said at some point, that we are not the product of our circumstances, but we are the product of the decisions that we make in our lives. So we make the right decisions, then the consequences and the result that follow will reflect the type of decisions that we have made. You also see another person, and it takes nothing away from you to support and really nurture that talent, as Sis Nozipho has done. But also, on the other hand, the person who is being afforded the opportunity to take the help, also it is upon them to take that help, as Sandile has said. And as a result, they come together and they are building this community that is going to change the lives of other people. Until the next episode, we thank you.